Imagine waking up one day to your house swallowed by the sea, your streets are flooded, and your livelihood as you know it is destroyed. Well, unfortunately, this nightmare has become a harsh reality for millions of people around the world that live in coastal communities. And today I stand before you to shed light on these pressing issues of climate change and the devastating impact on on coastal cities. Before diving into details, let me ask you this: have you ever felt the sun on your back while laying on the beach? Have you ever felt the ocean breeze going through your hair? Have you ever had a special moment on any coast in any coastal cities? These picturesque scenes are not just moments of tranquility, but they are symbols of life and livelihood as we know it, that millions of people all over the world get to enjoy it all the time. However, the very essence of these coastal communities is under threat due to the alarming effects of climate change. From rising sea levels to extreme weather events, the consequences of our changing climate are wreaking havoc on these communities, posing significant challenges for both the environment and for human societies. But today I'll be discussing three key aspects of climate change on these coastal communities: the rising sea levels, the increased frequency of extreme weather events, and the socioeconomic consequences of these devastating times. First, I'd like to talk about the rising sea levels. As global temperature rise, the polar ice caps and glaciers are melting at unprecedented rates and causing sea levels to rise. These coastal communities are particularly vulnerable to this, being that they are on sea level, and even a small increase, just a couple feet, can lead to devastating consequences, including erosion of coastlines, loss of land, and threats to low-lying areas. The displacement of these communities and loss of habitants for habitants for marine life are just some of the intimate people that that are affected by this. The displacement of these communities and loss of habitats for marine life are just some of the immediate impacts of rising sea levels, with long-term consequences for biodiversity and ecosystem health. The second one that I would like to speak about is the increased frequency of extreme weather events. Some of these extreme weather events include hurricanes, cyclones, and storm surges. And with these storm surges, they devastate these communities, wrecking homes, leaving people shelterless and hungry. And these coastal communities are the front lines of these disasters, facing the brunt and destructive force, bearing the heavy duty and burden of this extreme climate change that we're going through. And with that being said, with all this land loss and all the loss of real estate and even sometimes lives, it has a big impact on the social economic state of these communities. Such as populations including low-income householding, marginalized communities, and are disproportionately affected by the adverse effects of climate change, facing greater losses of life, communities, and even local businesses. The loss of these traditional livelihoods, such as fishing and tourism, further compounds all of these effects and forcing communities to adapt to these realities or face the prospect of permanent displacement. And with that being said, in conclusion, the impact of climate change on these coastal communities is an urgent and pressing issue for all of us. And as witnesses of this unfolding consequences of rising sea levels and extreme weather events and social economic disparities, it is left to us, and it is our responsibility to take action, whether or not that's going electric, using solar, or even just sending whatever you can to these communities that are affected, because when it affects them, it affects every single one of us. And so, thank you very much.